And today we have a special guest, Mr. Clarence White.
Why are you talking so softly?
Because my mic is on. It's the inflection. It's
Oh.
called an inflection. So I changed
Thank
my
you.
voice
Thank you for
so
telling
that I
me
can get
what it's
drama. You know what? Clarence, thank you for coming today.
We married, Clarence.
It's quite an honor to be here, and I'm enjoying this already. Please keep it going.
Uh-oh.
No. So
Wait.
you got to tell them what you do, and then we'll jump into it. Because you got to.
Don't start there, Clarence.
Okay.
How did you end up on this podcast?
Okay.
And so I was at the Marriage and Real Estate Mixer.
There we go. Shout out to the
weeks
mixer.
ago, which was a fabulous mixer
Thank you.
was held at the Shipley Hotel.
You got it correct.
Did I say that correctly?
Yeah. Shifley.
Shifley Hotel.
I don't think it's Shifley.
And I was, as long as I've known you all as a couple and know that you're involved in real estate and have witnessed several of your projects. In fact, I met you all by stalking one of your projects, but that's a whole nother story.
We'll get into the story too.
To learn that you all have this podcast of marriage and real estate, I was low-key offended because I go, how is it that you're involved in two of my most favorite passions?
Yes.
One being real estate. I'm a commercial real estate lender. But what you all didn't know, which I didn't realize at the time, I'm also a marriage coach. And so if you're talking about marriage in real estate, I'm just so surprised you haven't reached out and had me come on as a guest. So that's how I earned my way to the podcast.
Speaking of surprises, we had no idea.
Not a single clue.
That you were a marriage counselor. Now, we did put the real estate component to it because we have certainly run into each other in that space.
I mean, we've done deals
on
together
several
in real
occasions.
estate. You actually came to our second project ever.
Yeah. How did we do? How did Kevin do?
It was great. I told you all that then.
Right?
It was very nice. So
we've been trying to sell your house
ever since. It was smaller than what I was looking for at the time.
Have you bought a house since then?
I am in the process right now doing a purchase rehab right now. So
you've already purchased your rehabbing?
It's under contract. And
there we go.
I had a team meeting today with architect, engineer, plumber, electrician. Who else? It was like 5 or 6 people there.
So I have to say, you've lost 6 years of appreciation and equity. Just want to tell you.
That's a minimum.
I just want to tell you.
You know,
from when we met you.
Yeah, sometimes I have to remind myself that it's not always my timing, but God's timing. It certainly has not been due to a lack of effort. If you met my realtor, they would tell you that they're very much tired of me and showing me properties over these years.
Been your realtor? He or she has been your realtor since then?
The whole time.
For 4 years. Oh. And they are very sick and tired of me in my process.
So 4 years. So we met you 6 years ago. So that means you switched. No, that was 2017, 18.
So what happened is, to remind you all the stories, I came to that project because of one of you all's investors who I'd followed at the time on LinkedIn.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought they were pretty dynamic, and I felt there would be an opportunity for me to meet this person in person.
All of our events are great opportunities for people to meet.
Yeah. And so I just so happened to come to the open house that they were not attending.
That's how you got there?
But look,
you don't remember that?
Look at God.
Look at him.
I told you all that at the event.
I remember. She has her memory.
Yeah. But I got a chance to meet you all and connect with you all.
Yes.
Which was an unintended positive consequence of me trying to meet some other young person. So
that's exciting.
Okay. So tell us what is it that you do? We know real estate and we know marriage counseling. Tell our audience a little bit about who Clarence is.
Well, I say marriage coaching instead of counseling, even though I'm degreed as a counselor would be and have trained in counseling settings at multiple counseling facilities. I did not take the licensing exam. So that's why I call myself a coach instead of a counselor.
Got it.
But I'm also a licensed United Methodist pastor.
Get out.
So I grew up Methodist.
I'm a pastor, I'm a marriage coach, and a commercial banker.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a single person dating, right?
And a single person dating. Yes.
And so I I like to believe that there is a lot to learn from people who are, this is a marriage and real estate podcast, right? So we typically would have married couples on or people who are married, but I like to believe that there's a lot that we can learn from people who have been married before. Absolutely. Because if I think about my career and even relationships, I've learned so much from those past encounters that make me a better person for where I am now. So I'm hoping that with our audience, especially since you are a marriage coach and you do real estate, that they'll get great value from that as well.
Yeah. Well, here's the most shocking thing, that when folks find out my current situation or relationship status as being single and dating, I have an active prospect now. That's
there we go.
That.
Go
I
ahead.
Make sure I don't find myself in trouble with that opportunity that I'm pursuing currently. Is that they say, well, why, or would I trust you to be a resource for my marriage? Mm-hmm. Because I focus primarily on crisis situations. So people who are currently considering divorce or headed toward divorce or already separated and have filed for divorce. I've worked with those types of couples primarily, but I also work with couples considering marriage. So I do a lot of premarital counseling as well. Okay. I'm on those two polar ends of the spectrums for marriages. I say, why would I trust you when I'm twice divorced? I say 3 times because I had a long-term living situation that resulted in a child. So I give that relationship the credit that it deserves. And they say, well, you haven't gotten it right in 3 times. What really shocks people is when I'm single and looking and I meet someone I'm interested in, right off the bat, I tell them, I got 6 kids and 4 baby mamas.
Why?
Wait, when?
Why do you tell them that?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Is that the intro?
That's my intro.
Why?
I need you to know that right up front. It is true.
So let me ask a question.
Hold on now, wait a minute. Yeah. We need to make the math, okay?
Okay.
No, the math.
He said, I was married 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
No,
twice, but I count the third one.
Long term, which resulted in a child.
Hold on.
Count that one.
Hold on, you got 6 kids and 4 babies.
Okay.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so one of the baby mamas inside of the relationship?
No,
because he got
much.
3.
We don't need to know all of that, Clarence. You just need to make the math
make
add
the math
up.
math.
And we
Certainly, I would love to. So, married my college sweetheart.
Okay.
Sweet.
We were together for 12 and a half years. And we have a child from that relationship.
Okay.
After that first divorce, that's when the living arrangement happened.
Right.
Okay.
And we have a child.
Okay.
So that would be 2 and 2.
Yes.
Got it?
Yes.
Then I adopted a daughter who was 13 at the time, who was a member of my church, who did not have a relationship with her biological father, had never met her biological father. Okay. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity for me now to have a daughter.
Okay.
2 sons, but I didn't have a daughter.
Yeah.
And so over some time, she's now accepted me as her father, and I'm her father. Mm-hmm. And her mother calls me her baby daddy. Even though we never dated, we never had any type of relationship other than co-parenting her daughter.
Yeah. I told y'all
that's actually pretty sweet.
Baby daddy. So that's baby mama number 3 and 3 children.
Baby mama number 3.
Then I married for the second time, and that wife had 3 daughters when we met. They were 9, 11, and 13 when we met, and so I became father to them, even though they have a relationship with their father. Sure. My personality is it's me. So
you have 2 biological children and 4.
I have 6. I have 6 children.
6 kids.
No, I'm with you.
No,
I'm with
kids.
We believe in adoption. Yeah. So we're all about that. Yeah. So
I wish the babies would call me something else. I'm dead.
Yes.
No. I'm about that life.
That's
I'm about
a
that
very
dad life.
compelling intro.
Yes. But that's actually.
But
you
I
should
don't
lead with something else.
No, I don't explain that in the beginning. So what I've learned.
You want to scare them.
No, I don't want to scare them, but I want to prepare you for what comes with me. And in relationships, we forget so often that there's more that comes than the face or the bank account or the degrees or the professional representation. There's so much more that comes to that. So I want to give you the big building blocks of who I am up front and make sure you're okay with it. And
you want to scare them.
One of the big building blocks is I got 6 kids.
That sounds scary as hell.
Not only do I have 6 kids, but they have mothers. So there's 4 of them that you have to clear the hurdle with in order to be okay with me.
You know what it's like?
Because we move it. Hurdle. We move as a.
You know what it's like? It's like a rich person.
Clear the hurdle?
A rich person acting broke, like, hey, I'm in dire poverty, because you want to test them. You want to see if like they're worth exposing your true self. Because that's actually a really sweet, genuine reason to have 4 baby mamas and 2.
It could be seen as a test. The way I see it though is really, I want people to have what I think are critical points of consideration as early as possible.
Okay.
Right? Don't fall in lust with how I carry myself. Don't fall in lust with my brand or my persona or my reputation. I want you to know the things that most people who have not had the opportunity to get that close to me know about me. So we're going to talk about my path with credit and finances. We're going to talk about my relationship with my children and their mothers. We're going to talk about some of my affiliations from my earlier times of my life, which I'm no longer active in, but if you
in the streets,
if you happen to run with me in certain circles, you're going to run into certain people. You go, why does that guy know you? Or why does that lady know you?
You got like an old nickname like Shooter or something?
There's things about me that you want to take into consideration. That way, it does 2 things. One, you move into the relationship fully informed, right? But more importantly, you're now protected from any surprises later on.
That sounds like
no one can hold leverage over
complicated.
Me. And you know what?
No.
You know where I got this from? This is going to be really interesting. I got it from the Jeffersons.
Really?
There was an episode where an old ex of George had some kind of secret over him. And he was trying to blackmail him and said, if you don't follow through, I'm going to tell Weezy. And the whole episode was about him trying to satisfy this person's request without getting in trouble with his wife. Now, I think I was in high school or college when I watched this. And when it boiled down to it at the very end of the episode, he had to confront the issue. And the lady found Weezy and told her what it was. And she said, is that why you've been acting weird all along? I've known this the whole time. He didn't know it. So I would
pulled
go,
a Kevin Hart.
And I thought then, I never want to be in a situation, in a relationship with someone where I take their power away because somebody else thinks they have something on me.
Interesting.
So even in my days in college of dating and other things, and as an adult, I've always led with what's probably the most important things to you to know about me for you to make a decision about being in a relationship with me.
Now I have two frames of thought. Now I have 2 frames of thought. Well, first frame of thought, definitely very sweet, can completely empathize with how you got there once you find out. Second part of that is straight game. Straight game.
It's not game.
Straight game.
It's not game.
It is. Everybody with game says it's not game.
It's not game. I have no game.
Because look at that smart. It's not game.
I have no
because
game.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The confidence in which you convey it, right? That's the convincing part. Somebody could sell you like ice water and call it Cristal if they're really, really confident how they say it.
You have to, I agree with you on the latter part. You have to be confident in what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
And I know my worth. So if you can get past this, now I can give you the validation that you really deserve for making the choice of continuing this path with me. But you got to get past this first.
On the podcast.
No, you really got to get past this first.
I am speechless.
Now, when you get past
I'm over here with my mouth gaped open. Grandma would have said, close your mouth for a fly in there. Because I'm just...
That's not game.
Somebody, don't get caught in Clarence's snares.
So rewind. Okay. So we got towards the initial. How did you get into counseling, pastoring, and commercial lending?
Coaching.
All of those, every single one of them I would call acts of God.
Coaching, counseling, and commercials. Yeah. Sorry.
So it starts with
3 C's.
I receive what I believe, and most pastors can crystallize this moment for you, where they believe they heard from God and was called into ministry. My call came at 9 years old.
Okay.
And at 9 years old, my idea of what being a pastor or minister was measured against the man who was ministry for me, which is my grandmother's pastor, who was kind of my foundation for being in ministry or being in the Christian church, period. And there's no way at 9 years old I could see myself measuring against this guy and his attributes. So I said, no way, God, I'm not interested. But I will spend time with you and getting to know you. And I did this at 9 and begin then at that moment reading the Bible every day and studying the word for myself. I was never out of church. Even when my family didn't go to church, I would go to church. Even at 9, even before 9.
What about when you were in the streets?
I'm going to be in church.
Okay.
We're not going to miss our opportunity to be with the Lord. So even though I could not see myself in ministry, I wanted a relationship with the Lord and was not ashamed of sharing my experience with others. And for a time, I did get away from the Christian church and studied other religions and other practices. For me, religion is essentially how we relate to God.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I've studied other ways to relate to God other than through Christ. And then found myself back with Christ and has been there ever since. But I was running. In the process, of course, going to college, getting degrees and so forth. And I was in college for a really long time.
Okay, let's do a poll. How many?
How many what?
Years.
In college?
Yeah.
The first time?
Okay.
To get your undergraduate degree.
The first aggregate was 9 years.
I beat
Still
you.
got you beat.
Not
me.
10 years.
10 years. Straight?
04 to 14.
Straight?
Other than when I was academically suspended?
Yeah. Well, I was on probation. I never got suspended.
I got on probation.
That was by grace.
And then I was suspended.
Yeah, that was by grace that I didn't get suspended.
Because
I deserved to be
with
suspended.
no grace in that.
I deserved to be suspended, but I had connections.
I got 100% suspended.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I got 100% like out.
Yeah.
So I got probation 3 times. And then they
too.
suspended my bad grade having self.
I was suspended 3 times as well, but I never got.
You never went
probation.
You never went to the 4th. See, it's the back-to-back that gets you. It's the suspension, or it's the probation that you got to get it together before they suspend you. And what happened is I was 3 times the charm. So I got suspended. Or no, I got probation, break, probation, suspension.
Let me tell you the real testimony and grace of mine. I was a math major, which was my 3rd or 4th major. Actually, I was actuarial science, which is when I'm math department.
Oh, man. You mathy math.
The chair of our mathematics department was kind of an unofficial mentor, and he believed in me. So being on academic probation, 1 point whatever GPA, he put me in the math lab to be a tutor. One of the main tutors.
Did that?
I got D's and F's on my transcript. And he was like, but I need you to go teach other people how to do this. That's not it. Then when professors could not go teach their classes for whatever reason, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, whatever the case may be, White, go teach that class.
So it was the institution of school that you had your beef with?
No.
Not the subject.
It was to be institutionalized is where my beef lies.
Oh, same thing.
I didn't want the structure.
Yeah, same thing.
None. I didn't want to go to class.
But you had the ability.
Yeah.
And he recognized that you can master the material and you receive it in a way that is natural, is not forced. Now I want to know if you had the ability to convey it to others. And that's why he put me in the math lab and paid me. I was on salary. And based off my performance in the math lab, then he
gave you a grade.
Then he would send me to teach in the class. No, he still never gave me a grade. But he wouldn't kick me out.
What school was this?
The Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University.
Oh, go ahead.
In Tallahassee, Florida. That's
go ahead, Florida A&M. We got a lot of A&M.
We call it the Black Harvard. So,
is that what they call it?
Yeah, that's what we call it.
I never heard that before.
I've never not once.
Well, hang around the Rattlers a little bit longer.
Hang around the Rattlers.
I bet if I go to A&M, they go say it.
So our motto during that time was excellence with caring.
Like Prairie View makes productive people.
They really do, though.
You know what?
But it's the caring piece.
I hate that I didn't get an HBCU experience. I definitely look for that for my children because there's a whole piece of like that culture, that confidence that I don't have.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
Fun.
So tell us, you are in your professional life as well. You do real estate,
real estate lending.
Yes. So you don't own any because you buying your house right now.
Correct.
What advice can you give to our audience for people who are interested either in becoming a lender, or
Getting along.
How to achieve, what am I trying to say? Help me out, co-host.
How to be qualified for a loan?
I don't know. How to get a loan. I don't know.
I just said how to get a loan.
Okay, yeah. How to get a loan.
This volley is amazing. Thank you.
So we do this all the
time. Yeah.
Okay.
This is how we naturally talk.
Well, the advice I would give is to lean into your first point is to become the lender, right? For a couple of standpoints. One is biblical, to be the lender, not the borrower.
Okay.
But more importantly, then you're in control entirely of the project if you control the funds. The project, the outcome, the partners you choose, they're all going to follow the money. So when you become the lender, you're truly in control of the project. To become a real estate lender, either as an investor, lender, or just to be a lender, period, from the private side, gives you a great amount of power. So I would always advise someone to do that. And how you do that is you can start as small as you want. There's a lot of projects that people need to complete, whether they're doing a wholesale deal or something of that nature where they only need a few $1,000s. Be that person to lend and make your margin on that, which then also secondarily gives you an education into that process.
To find out
because your dollars are there, they're going to open up the curtains and allow you to see what's going on behind it.
That is a gem, a bar, a thing. I never thought about that. So, that is really good. And we are going to have a passive income at the conference. A panel at the conference where we talk about that, right? That's pretty powerful. That's also really exciting because who is a lender? How can you become a lender? What does that look like? And what does that look like in marriage and with couples? And we'll also feature some couples that are private lenders that can kind of share some insight into that. That's powerful.
It is a non-traditional way of being involved in real estate that I fear, as a culture, are missing the boat on. That we're so excited or enthusiastic or zealous about being attached to the dirt. I need my name on the deed. I want to drive the renovation project. I want to own the asset, not realizing that the cash is an asset as well. And that gives you just as much, if not more, power if you're the cash injection into the project. But now, you can't just put the cash in and sit back on the sofa and wait for the education to come. You'll get your dividend or you'll get your interest payment, but if you want the education, you have to be present.
Wow.
You have to get involved.
Let me tell you something. So when we were saying we're going to bring Clarence on the podcast, we were like, okay, what are we going to talk about? I could not have, if we're talking about your past and everything, we're talking about divine and how things come at the right time. This is a good ministering that's happening.
But
right
what's
now.
Funny, and I want to get to the stories. He definitely hit us with the game, though. He was like, oh, man, I got this. It was telling us stories. I was like, oh, this is going to be a wild episode. He going to hit us with all the marriage stories from the crazy couples or whatever. No.
We hadn't gotten to that part of the...
but
now the sting is out of the bee, man. It's out of the bee. You ain't coming with the ratchet. You don't have the ratchet.
I want to give the ratchet. Please give me a chance to give the ratchet.
No, but I will ask you this. And one of the things I don't think I've ever really asked you this consciously, and it's a good platform for this because our podcast has followed our journey, right? You've had a front seat row too from a vantage point because you lent on our first big deal after 2019 and all the challenges we went through. You've seen our dirty draws from credit to, whatever. So from your vantage point of seeing us in that very, second project, and then also seeing us now and what we're doing and all the challenges, whether it's credit or capital, partnering with people, whatever.
Market, whatever the case may be.
What is your opinion of our journey and our story? Be transparent.
It has been absolutely phenomenal. And you know this because when I found out you're involved in stuff like when you did the project on Charleston, I ran you down because I wanted to see it, and we had no stake in that game.
That's true.
That's just how big of a fan I am from watching you all do one of your early flips that might have been 1,200 square feet.
1140
to doing a true custom bill, which not everybody understands what a custom bill is. They say they do, but they really don't unless they're involved in the game. To a true absolute custom bill. What was the square feet of that?
4,600.
Think of you see what I mean? The scope of that. And a person that can do a renovation project is not the same one that can do an entry-level product that's kind of cut and paste model type build that doesn't take a lot of sophistication to doing a true custom, which is very sophisticated in terms of the skill level that you need, and it's more capital intensive.
That is true.
So I'm a true fan to have watched the growth from each stage or each iteration of where Park Street has grown through to where you are now today. Yeah. And have you had your challenges? Of course. But what journey is worthwhile that does not have various elevations to it? If it's just a straight line and all the conditions are perfect the whole entire way, you're going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean,
that's a good way to
and
look
like
at
you
it.
said earlier, the only time you lose is if you don't keep going when you stop, right?
Yeah.
So you can lose.
The difference between winners and losers is winners play until they win.
Winners play until they
That's
win.
a big crit quote, actually. Big crit quote.
K.R.I.
Yes.
T.
And he listened to music.
I'm familiar with the name. I don't remember what he sings.
Oh, he's an amazing lyricist.
You don't know Big Crits and you.
Okay.
But now let's parallel that to marriage. Part of why I believe God's grace on my life for serving couples who are in crisis is the same thing. That I learned a new term a couple of weeks ago in a marital seminar I was participating in, is narrative matching. That in our heads, we have this idea of what it takes to achieve a certain goal in a relationship. And that's our target. And when things look different than that goal, we're upset, we're disturbed, we're ready to quit. We want to throw in the towel, I'm done. Not realizing that path or that journey or that process is just as important as reaching that outcome. Right?
That's good.
You all stay focused as partners on completing that project on Charleston. And I know from watching it from the street, I only got a chance to come inside twice when y'all.
You saw it.
Twice.
You came to the party.
For the open house,
you,
right?
I gave you a personal tour.
Those were the 2 times. But I'm saying the rest of it I had
was
to
available.
Watch
you could have bought it.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you all would agree it did not go as smoothly as you would have hoped it would, but you still met the outcome.
No, that one went pretty smooth.
Charleston wasn't bad.
I
didn't say it was bad. I said didn't go exactly the way that.
Oh yeah, I mean COVID and life and whatever.
And construction, right? I think one of the things that we've gotten used to in our space is like that you pivot. I mean, our pivot game is strong.
Pivot game is definitely strong.
In 2019, our pivot game was weak. Today, our pivot game is strong. I mean, things that will crush people. We come across it and we okay, we just got to do something different. Like life-changing things, and we're like, and I get it now because I've seen other business owners do that too, and I'm like, how were they able to take that on the chin like that? Like, that is so bad. And they're just like, nah. So
keep pushing.
Strong.
So how does that play out in your marriage? Have you had to pivot in your marriage?
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's a pivot, though. I like what you said about a journey. I think that the one thing that was clear for us was the narrative match, right? From day one. So the one thing that we aligned on is how we viewed life.
Yep.
And how we wanted to live. And that's been the clear thing. So even though the road got lots of different ones, we really want to be in the car together. We enjoy. It's like an actual road trip. Every time we go on a road trip, Aisha's like, man, I love going on a road trip too. I absolutely hate driving, but I like spending time with her. So it makes the ride bearable. Because sometimes the ride can be trash in a journey. But if you have a great partner, the road can twist and turn and up and down.
If you have a great partner and you believe in the destination.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, and y'all both want to go to the same destination.
Both want to, because both believe in the same destination.
It's when y'all going in two different directions that I see that dissonance between the two people. We're going in the same direction, and we're going to get there.
Yep.
Now, it might not be how we mapped it out on MapQuest. I remember MapQuest. But we're going to get there.
You know,
I really want to go all the way to key map.
Sure. Now, here's the crazy part, and I think of even this podcast as an example of that. As the years, like you start off with that narrative in mind and the road twists and turns. One of the exciting things is seeing yourself get better, right? So I in no way feel like our podcast right now is the best that it's going to be. I know that it's going to be even much better, right? But 4 years into it, damn, I'm happy with where we've gotten to. Mm-hmm. Like, because we started off at the dining room table, dragging her out of bed to record and me not editing nothing and throwing it on and just like, we got to ship. We just got to execute. We just got to get it out. And it was really like, trash is the only word that I could describe it.
It's not that bad.
It wasn't that it was that bad because the information was always there, but the presentation wasn't.
Production wasn't.
Yeah, the production wasn't. So, and we're over 2 years in the studio now. It's a much cleaner, crisp, controlled environment, and that will even get better. So the best part about it is seeing from where we came from. So we're even in Park Street, even in our marriage, like, I'm excited about our marriage in 10 years, excited about our marriage in 50 years. I'm excited about, like, these kids going to grow up and be gone and we going to have each other back and it's going to be amazing. I'm excited about that.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
No, but to your point on the podcast, I led a podcast series for a year around my coaching business for marriages. It's not an easy experience. Trust me. And I did it for a year, every week. 52 episodes. And then I said, I'm done. I gave it a year. And I've listened to you all's podcasts, and I'm a podcast junkie. That's how I spend my downtime. I don't like to watch TV. I'm either reading or I'm listening to an interview. And you all do a phenomenal job.
Oh, thank you.
This is a very underrated and underexposed podcast. And when the light hits, you'll be prepared because you'll have stuff in the bank that folks can run to and see how great it's been. So I've enjoyed listening to the episodes that I've
Thank
to prepare for my time here.
Thank you.
Even though I haven't been ratchet yet. So
no. So
I'm not gonna let you get ratchet.
I would love to.
I want to hear some stories.
All right.
It's got to be worth it. Wow.
Let's get ratchet.
Look, the boys want to get down and dirty. Go ahead.
Give me a crazy situation. Give me
of a couple that I've been with.
Sure. I mean, whatever you got.
So here's one of the things that I shared with you all when we were at the conference, that through God's grace, and I've been with
crazy story.
No, I got one for you. Hold on.
Don't tell the one that I
got one for you.
It's not that
it's
one.
It's even
is
better. No,
this was bad.
No, this is bad. This is better. But hold on, listen.
It's better
since 1998, God has allowed me to coach, and this is going to bring us back to a question you asked me earlier, how I got into it. I got into banking because I was recruited out of college. I wasn't looking for the job.
Okay.
Simply had a conversation with some recruiters, got invited to Houston to have a second round of interviews. Came to Houston thinking it was a tumbleweed, horse-drawn carriage.
Where are you originally from?
Gainesville, Florida, which is the swamps. It's country, I know.
Okay.
But I'm coming to Houston thinking it's tumbleweed town.
Okay.
And landed into Hobby Airport, picked up by a limousine. They put me up in the Warwick, which is now Hotel Zaza. And at that moment, I said, God, if you grace me this opportunity, I'm coming to Houston.
This was
I hadn't looked back.
This was in
94.
Oh, 94.
Yeah. 94, we were popping. As a city, we were championship back to back.
I had no desire to be in
for
banking.
A man like Clarence, huh?
I had no desire to be in banking. I had no desire to be any other place than on the East Coast. But that set it up for me. That was God moving me here. And then getting into banking and realizing this is in line with what I like to do, which is help people. I've always known that part about myself. I go, and then I start hearing the call to ministry again, and I go, no, sir. I like to do the things that I like to do without restrictions or people judging.
You fought God life. That whole way, huh?
And then I started to give in. But the wife I was married to at the time lived even more freely than I did. And she did not want the stigma or the judgment from being a pastor's wife. So we delayed the decision, but I said, God, how about as a coach?
Okay.
I get to still help people. And God, I'll even be a Christian coach. Like I'll get the Christian counselor's license, the whole deal. That's how I started in counseling. That began in 98.
Okay.
So since 1998, couples that God has graced me to sit with have never gone through divorce.
Clarence.
Never. Now, some of them have divorced years later after they stopped doing the work or stopped meeting with a coach, either me or someone else. But while they were doing the work, never. Now, I say this as a backdrop to the story I'm about to tell you.
Don't tell that story.
I got to tell. This is a different story.
Let them go.
Right.
Entirely different story. Couple who was having turmoil, considering divorce. married, 2 kids, young kids in the house. The wife is disgruntled and very unsatisfied with the marriage. She did not think her husband had enough rough edge to him.
All right.
And this was a transformed dude who was very rough, but cleaned his life up for Christ and for his wife. She didn't like the transformation. She goes out with her girlfriend, who is a same age as she is, single mother. They go out, have a great time on the town, hang out at bars, bar hop, whatever the case may be. Comes back home, decides, I've had a little too much to drink to go home. May I stay here with you? She says yes.
To the friend's house.
Friend goes in her room. She shows her the guest room. Between that moment and the next morning, she decides to sleep with her friend's son.
What?
And gets pregnant.
What? Hold on.
And keeps the baby.
What?
Man.
In the whole wide look at she back there just a chuckling. It's not funny. It's hard.
No. Ain't nothing funny about this goddamn story.
Let the man finish.
Hold on.
They stayed together.
Kevin.
Through God's grace.
No,
Kevin, Kevin.
We walked through that situation and it wasn't easy. It was not easy, but through God's grace and God's wisdom and God's coaching, using me as a facilitator, they stayed in that relationship.
Y'all, this man is officially on the panel for the Marriage and Real Estate Podcast. He's an amazing storyteller. He's got
she the boss.
Now, was that worse? Was that worse than the other one I told you?
That was,
hold on. No, the other one was really. I don't even want to know the details
at all.
But hold on. I have so many questions.
Oh, come on, Kevin. Here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to project onto this story.
What am I projecting?
No, I'm talking about the projection of like
how? It's so far from anything that I've experienced.
I'm not saying project like you've been through this. What I'm saying is like, okay, go ahead.
No, I just have questions.
Listen to your wife.
I don't have thoughts. I have questions.
Go ahead.
How old was the son?
He was in his early 20s.
Okay, so he was a grown.
He wasn't a minor.
Okay, so my mind
had
going
a duty.
Yeah.
At that point.
Okay. So what did the husband say?
Well,
I'm sure he was hurt.
He was very hurt.
I bet he was pissed.
He was very hurt.
He was hurt.
He was very disappointed.
Yeah.
And they already had 2 young children.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. It's not a projection.
Go ahead.
But it's
a leading question.
I'll tell you the story later after this podcast interview. But question. The mindset, maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not.
I'll take that.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Because I'm just take a special kind of
the
person.
wife be knowing. The wife knows.
No,
and the husband should
Sure.
It really doesn't take a special kind of person.
So they found their way out of that.
Really all it takes.
Are they still together?
No, they subsequently divorced maybe 4 years after that. 4 or 5 years after that. He still takes care of the son.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the son of the friend? He's not involved in the child's life?
I mean, it's kind of like, what is that? Maybe The Imitation Life. You know, like one of those movies where one of the young girls have a baby and they give it to the older sister and the sister raises it as their own. You know, you just kind of take it. And then, you know, you never heard of that before?
That's a little different.
I've heard of that before.
Oh, okay.
Definitely heard of that before.
That's a little different.
But the problem is, it's the mama's friend who slept with the son. There's a whole lot in that.
No, not the mom's friend.
That's who slept with the son.
So she had a complicated relationship. She had to face her husband.
If your best friend slept with baby Kevin and made a baby,
you gotta face your friend as well.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot.
You slept with your friend's child.
In her house and made a baby.
Your child also slept with that lady.
Yeah, but children, and he was a grown ass man.
He was grown and she was intoxicated. Was he intoxicated?
Grown is not always by age, so that's a whole nother.
That's true. Point. But what I'm saying is like,
okay, now we wait.
Actually, he took advantage of her.
I want another story. I want another one. Roll up the bag.
If you want more stories, we'll tell y'all where you can find Clarence.
I want one more.
He does consultations where he story tells his experience. They $250 an hour, unlimited stories at $250 an hour via Zoom. So he's available nationwide.
This is true.
Are you making management dollars? What are you?
I think so. I think I just hired a new manager and booking agent for a fee.
Listen,
okay.
I've been trying.
Okay.
No, listen. When it comes to marriage, it's simple. Well, and one of the ways I describe myself in personal life is that I'm simply complicated. It's the same thing with marriage. It's simple and yet complicated.
Okay, I like that.
Do you believe in the commitment that you made at the altar?
Okay.
That's always our base, right? That's always where we're pointing to. No matter how far we get away from that, that is our centering point. It's the covenant you made at the altar. And if you did it in a Christian ceremony before God, then we have a lot to work with in just that one moment, if we use that as our centering point.
So do you want to get married again?
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
And then what are your hopes, dreams, ambitions for your future marriage?
One, to actually marry for the first time to someone I want to marry.
Okay. I'll take that. That's real.
My college sweetheart, who I've had the blessing of marrying some great women, some amazing women, but not marrying someone I wanted to be married to. My college sweetheart, an amazing woman, still is an amazing woman. We didn't like each other, right? She was all things physically attractive, extremely smart, one of the smartest persons I've ever met in my life, if not the smartest. Active, well-respected, and to do that in that environment at Florida A&M at the time was no easy
She was the bee's knees.
She was. So why am I going to say no to this? And you're fine? Come on. Why am I going to say no to that? Who has to like you? I didn't, and she didn't like some of my immature ways at the time, which tend to haunt people in their relationships. So that caused rift for us the entire time we were together. And we knew we should not have been married. But I loved her family and she loved my family. And our families loved each other.
Yeah.
And so we married and we tried to give it a run. My second marriage, amazing woman, but I didn't know her and she didn't know me. And we didn't really fit well together either. But I married her for two reasons. One, I was going into ministry. And I believe that a pastor should have a Bible and a wife.
Like a politician?
Yeah.
Different in the sense that some politicians can get away with being whores.
That's true.
Most pastors cannot.
Most pastors are whores.
I mean, yes, they can.
I didn't say they weren't. I said they can't get
yes,
away.
They do.
Let's be real.
I said they can't get away with it.
Yes, they do.
Most pastors get away with being complete whores.
They should not. And
they
I
shouldn't.
didn't want.
They should.
And I didn't want to be.
Let's go with
so. And I know my proclivities. If I'm single, then
you out in these streets.
Who do we want to talk to? And nobody can stop us, right? I'm not saying it's that bad.
That's not what he said.
But if I'm in a relationship, a committed relationship, I'm 100% locked in and focused.
I'm with you.
So I knew, God, if you're going to allow me to finally accept my calling and finally be in a position to pastor a congregation of any capacity, associate, assistants, whatever, I'm going to need a Bible and a wife. Because I could stay focused on one woman very well. But I should have done a little bit more research on what I wanted and what I needed. And I thought I had, but it was based off of the wrong things. So I'm excited about the fact that I have all of that wisdom of how I've done it wrong to invest in how to do it right. So the first thing is marrying someone I actually want to be with and that wants to be with me and values who I really am and not the picture that I sell them.
I could dig that.
Right. So often we show our better side, our more promising side, and not our complete sides.
Yeah.
So whoever gets me now gets it all. And I want that same thing from them. And so That's the first thing I think we'll do differently. The second thing is I want someone that we want to ride till the wheels fall off, meaning these legs, our limbs, or whatever the case may be.
Whatever you got.
When we take our last breath is with each other.
Yeah.
So, those are two primary things I'm focused on.
That's sweet.
I love that.
That's a whole panel. Okay, so this is how we're going to get more couples in the building, right? Because for those of you, hold on, let me look at the camera. For all of the millions of people out there.
Claim it.
Who may be on the brink of calling it quits.
Yep.
The Marriage and Real Estate Conference is where you're going to be at. Why? Because Clarence will be there, our marital coach, who has brought marriages from a mighty long way. Not only has he brought marriages from a mighty long way, he is also in real estate. And so we know our audience. We know we resonate with people who are either married, soon to be married, coupled up, want to be married.
Yep.
And all of those people fall in various places. Should we get married? Should we stay married? But they do know that they are real estate minded and interested, and they want to build wealth. And so we want to make sure that we cover all of our bases. And look at that. We didn't even know we needed you. And here we are.
That was his agenda, though. He said that.
That was definitely my agenda.
He did a darn good job.
Now, here's a question. Council moment. For the Sheltons. Because we haven't had a marriage episode in a while.
We haven't.
You've listened to several episodes of our podcast. You've obviously been around us. You know us. What's your opinion on our marriage? Oh, wow. Not our business, but our marriage.
From the preview, I didn't understand it for a long time.
Really?
Knowing you're being with each of you individually in different settings, and then seeing y'all together, I was like, I don't get it. And some folks close to you will know this because I say it to them often. Kevin may be the giant, but I'm afraid of Aisha.
I tell everybody,
as long as I do not disappoint her, I think I'm in good space. So it's that perspective that keeps me safe in y'all's.
She the boss, in y'all's
bro. Graces. She is the boss. She's a quiet boss.
She is the brain.
Is the boss.
Listen, our whole life is built on that brain.
But when I saw you all at the open house and how you all functioned very well as a team, not only the two of you all, but the people you brought together to help support you all and how y'all organized that and ran that ship together, I was like, okay, I get it. But I didn't until that very moment at the open house. So I think very highly of y'all's marriage.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
well, we like each other.
We had Matt Head on here last week.
Really?
And he said, I thought y'all was friends. He's like, I didn't know y'all married. I thought y'all was friends. I was like, really?
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't work for me.
Y'all translate. It's important to be friends.
Yeah, I mean.
No. But she is my best friend.
Yeah,
I believe it.
But not being in a marital relationship with her would not work for me. Yeah. I ain't going to be your friend. We can't be friends, just friends.
This is what I picked up on you all, is that you speak each other's language very well.
Mm-hmm. Do.
Yeah.
Even, and I saw this at the open house, and it was really hilarious to me because I don't know if I was the only one that saw it. You all could have a conversation with each other in a room and not use any words.
At the mixer or the open house?
At the open house. I'm sorry.
Charleston open house?
At the open house. That's what I meant.
At the Charleston open house.
At the Charleston.
Because you've been to several open houses.
I have been to several open houses, but at the Charleston open house.
The party?
No, not the party. At the open house, the daytime open house where you have
the neighborhood open house.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes.
You all could be in different rooms, but in enough space to see each other's faces and go, and boom, and one of them is off doing something, going, wait, did anybody else catch that other than me? You all speak each other's languages that well that you could do it without words.
That's true.
To me, that is the secret power of a successful marriage. It's the ability to communicate under any circumstance using any form of method that you need to in order to convey the message. And you all have that down.
Yeah. I mean, we grew there. It wasn't always.
Oh, yeah.
It certainly was.
It's a process.
It's a process. It's a process.
No.
A beautiful one. A beautiful one.
Yeah.
We didn't even know.
We have a good time.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
I like you a lot.
I do.
Look at that smile. I make you smile like that.
It's funny. So the reality situation is, this is my second marriage. I never want to be married again. And I didn't want to live past 60. to be honest.
I heard that on a couple of episodes ago.
He said the same thing.
And now you said you might give it to 80, and she fussed at you about that as well.
But she's the only person. Like, bro, I'm having a great time. This is like, that's fun. I enjoy living life with this person. Good, bad, and different. When it's real bad, still an amazing time. In the worst of times. And in the best of times, it's even better. But the worst of times can be worse. And there's nobody I'd rather be in the worst of times with than this person.
And the bad times are not as bad when you have someone
that's true
going through them with you.
Mm-hmm.
The bad times are bearable.
Yeah.
It is. Well, we got our own personal marriage coach. Y'all have to get your own session. This is ours. Where can they find you? Where can the people find you?
I'm available on all platforms. It's just my regular name, Clarence White.
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of those different platforms that can be found and reached in those vehicles. So.
Okay.
And will you coach them to success if they want to invest in real estate?
That absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm a tremendous believer that wealth in this country is created historically through real estate, financial instruments like insurance or so forth, or entertainment. Those are the primary natural resources like real estate, oil and gas, and so forth. Financial instruments or entertainment. Technology and things like that are new vehicles for creating wealth. So we can't forget that.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
This was fun.
It was.
She, by every stretch of the imagination, kept the entire conversation on a leash. She didn't let us free. She promised to let us free.
Why did she give us the opportunity to go there?
It's a combination of things. It's a combination of her controlling time.
Okay.
I am a time controller.
And also her controlling the outcome of the way that the episode is perceived. She don't want us to get down in the weeds, but you're going to tell me after the story.
And you know what?
All the crazy.
He's got plenty of stories to tell, and I'm looking forward to the episode where we have.
She also wants to get them on the conference.
I want to get you on the conference, but I want to have a women's conversation about this, about marriage and real estate, like a panel. And we'll do it at the conference, but I also want to do it on the podcast too. And then I want to have a men. So y'all can get down and dirty on the men episode. And
No. I just want to hear stories.
Oh, take the man to lunch.
We got lunch. We've been
dinner.
We have
something.
We do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but at this point, we're going to end the episode.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all for this opportunity.
Thank you for coming.
To share.
You could always come. You could have come 4 years ago.
I really did not know. As soon as I found out, I tried to get here as soon as possible.
This was the episode we didn't know we needed.
That is true.
It truly was the episode we didn't know we needed. And I hope that the things that you said, because you dropped so many gems and really said some really profound things, and we had fun and we made, there was some jest in there, but you really did say some profound things that I feel like will impact somebody's marriage when they hear this episode. So thank you for being our guest.
Yeah. And encourage them to reach out to Park Street so they can invest in some real estate.
For sure.
Alongside you all.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't miss the come up.
Because you all offer an amazing vehicle. I'm on your newsletter, so
there we go.
I watch what you all promote, and it's an amazing opportunity for people to invest in real estate.
No, thank you. And we want to thank you for liking and subscribing to our podcast. So please hit that like button, hit that follow, share this episode, all the clips, the conference, Marriage and Real Estate Conference 2023 coming your way. Marriage and Real Estate Conference is the website for tickets. We'll put it in the show notes. But this has been another episode of Marriage and Real Estate Podcast.